Okay, hi, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm doing a video on what you can obviously see. The number one movie on Peacock and the number four movie on Peacock. The extended version is number one. The regular version is number four. Now you can go online and you can look and everyone can explain to you why this movie failed. They can tell you that the actors weren't big enough, they spent too much money, the marketing. I will say, no, actually, the first trailer is okay. It gives you the story, it's telling you it's a love story, and it has some of the humor in it. Not all of it, not revealing too much. I think the second trailer had a lot of bad scenes, none of the humor that's in this, so it didn't work. And does anyone care about the original Fall Guy? Well, I did. This was my only issue with the Fall Guy was there's two characters, and in the Fall Guy there's four. There's Colt, there's Howie, and there's Jody. There's also the character that Marky Post plays, R.I.P. Marky Post. There was another character who was there before. I think that's who played the producer in this one, who's actually Hana from what's that? Oh man, the movie with the soccer player. All right, I'm cut. No, I'm gonna keep going. But basically, being a fan of the $6 Million Man and a fan of the Fall Guy and Lee Majors, obviously, if you have these two characters, this is something that's changing. And if it's a love story between Colt and Jody, there was never a love story between that. So my initial struggle was, are they going to throw out the whole thing? Now, at the same time, I guess that's about it. I think if I look at the second trailer, maybe there wasn't thing, but when you watch a movie and you see that you're totally proven wrong, that there's nothing wrong with the movie, you're like, what the hell? Now, I will say it's not similar in style, but there's been many remakes, and obviously one of the more successful ones is Mission Impossible. Even though no one was asking for it, it's going on to what, 7 movies now, going on 8, right? But no one asked for that, and it's turned into a successful franchise. I would say for me, 3, 5 through 7 have been pretty much my favorites of the Mission Impossibles. But one of the remakes I did, well, no, the Fugitive. Fugitive kills it. I hadn't seen the show, but the idea of it sounded interesting. I didn't see that in the movie theater. Watched it on video, loved it. So I felt I was wrong, and I say the same thing with the Fall Guy. But at the same time, there was a movie, Beverly Hillbillies, and I would say not a chance. I watched it with my grandmother on reruns, and I don't think I laughed once. And a friend of mine, I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch the show. He said, let's watch this. And I'm like, come on. And the first scene, like the first thing, like the first setup when they leave town and Granny gets hit by, hit in the car, I think I laughed for the rest of the movie after that. I laughed the entire time. So I think using the Beverly Hillbillies idea is taking something that ultimately, I'm not saying the Beverly Hillbillies is not good, but your production, that you're making, you're not making a good film. I'm sorry to say this. You're not making a good film, and you take the thing and you make a good film. And this is what you should strive for. When you're taking a property, then at the same time, if it fails, when people watch it, they're like, why did no one go see this? This is really good, right? So like with the Beverly Hillbillies, I think they did the best they could. I think knows that with the Fall Guy, it's the same sort of thing, but at the same time, every minute of film, especially the extended version, is utilizing every talent in the best way possible. Like that is the, as far as an action movie, I think closest. No, I can't say that. Can't say that. But I'm trying to think of simple movies that take your concept that's not gonna work and they make it work, right? So this is the thing that's hard to do. It is existing properties that got money behind it, has money behind it, and you have to come in and make it a successful film. There's a lot of them that's failed, but you pick up, you try to add some stuff to it, and it can either go or not go, right? And the Fall Guy wasn't successful, total bomb. Yet Bullet Train, which is people going crazy over, and none of that went into people going to see that. But who did it have in it? Yes, it did have Quicksilver in Bullet Train, but it had, you know, not these two. It had Cliff Booth, right? That's who it had in Bullet Train. Even though it was was it a Netflix movie? It had Brad Pitt. Now we're gonna revisit Brad Pitt because you know I have to come up with something ridiculous to compare it to, but both a stuntman, so I got a connection. So let's go back to Fall Guy, right? So I was watching this. I just decided to sit down, watch the extended cut, and it's a simple setup of what you see in the trailer. You see Colt is established. Well, actually, the love story is set up between Jody and Colt, right? And dare I say it, Emily Blunt is looking tremendous in this movie. So they have this relationship. You can feel it right on. The little bits that they're doing in here is just builds the chemistry. Everything about this, it would be crazy if the two of them hated each other because every little bit that they do to substantiate the relationship builds to a better movie, right? So they have this sort of budding relationship. He's a top stuntman. Gets no respect to the actor that he's covering for. The actor who played Quicksilver doesn't care about him at all. It is not the Brett Booth, the Cliff Booth, and the Leonardo DiCaprio relationship. Even though they never seem like they were close. Even though they're in scenes together, they don't seem to have any chemistry, in my opinion. Basically, he is the Fall Guy. Even though Jody loves him, this, that, and the other, he goes on this stunt and he gets injured, and it takes him out of the business, and he's lost his square, and he's gone so far that he's left the business altogether. And he's dragged back into the business because the producer tells him, Jody wants you back. And he comes in, does the stunt, okay. He's still a little rusty. He sees Jody. It's all in the trailer. And next thing you know, she doesn't want him. She's like, I haven't spoke to him. So she looked at it as someone who, had a one-night stand and didn't call the next day. So it's been months or even longer because he had to heal. And she is totally not with him. And this starts your movie. This starts the movie, and it starts them with this tension. And at the same time now, he's gone from the top guy to being less than. And then the next scene, if I wasn't all in, they have the trail up for that scene too. I'm going to put links to these scenes, and you should still see it if you watch these scenes. Basically, there's a big action scene. And this is the other thing. The action scenes are so big, it just makes it so much more fun, right? So this action scene, he gets hit into a wall, and then Jodie then has him do it a whole bunch of times more. And it's funny because they're dealing with their relationship issues in front of the set. And it deals with this director not being that great, having power now, and nobody being able to say anything to the director. Now we can lose time, and cost money while the director wants to replay this because she wants to take it out on Cult, right? So it's playing to the movie and the movie stuff, and then slowly after that, they kind of reconnect, and that leads us into our mystery. Where is the actor? The actor has been gone for a long time, and that leads you to a ton of fun, a ton of nuttiness, and every actor that comes into it. What was it? It's Aaron Taylor Johnson who plays the lead actor, Tom Ryder, and he's brilliant in every scene he's in. Hannah Waddingham, she is Gail Meyer, and she is also very good in there. She's the person who's she's like your real producer. Like she is chewing up. Like the thing is, when people say people chewing up scenes and stealing the show, she's stealing. Teresa Palmer, who's been in a ton of things, like the courtship of witches. It's just so many people. Winston Duke, and when they're in their scenes, like they don't write them as if they're just there to showcase Ryan Gosling. They're like real people in the story. They're just not just kind of props to kind of make Ryan Gosling good. And this is where, I don't know, you have to look at the movie, but ultimately Hollywood doesn't like those type of movies because that is more towards a TV sort of thing where you kind of have the ensemble play in the story, where you have all these characters, which I mentioned, there were like 4 characters, and all the other supporting characters that come in that need lines. Like the writing was actually keeping everyone involved. So when Teresa Palmer comes in here, her character has a scene stealing moment. Colt, of course, is doing a bunch of action, but at the same time, this is where he's playing the everyman. He's playing the everyman, so he's the person who, isn't getting the full credit. At the same time, he's not necessarily the leader. You have Jodie, who's the leader. So this is one of the things that's kind of harder for the movie. It's tough because it's like taking concept. I'm not trying to make sense. So since I'm not making any sense, what I'm going to show you is what they want. They want Cliff Booth. They want a tough, unflappable, and actually Cliff Booth, I don't even think does any stunts in this movie. I think he is a job of waiting to do some stunts for Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Ultimately, the one stunt job he has, he screws that up and gets kicked off set. He's better at doing roofing than stunt work, but at the same time, you have an alpha in this thing, and this is what movies like. Movies like to have these alpha, and I don't know, has Brad Pitt played a character that's kind of, unsure of himself? That sort of thing. Whereas Leonardo DiCaprio's character is the character that's kind of unsure of himself, but he's kind of a broken down version of that. So, but he's still the leader. He still tells, Cliff Booth that he has to leave the house and we're not working together anymore and that sort of stuff because he's moving away from doing action films and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's interesting to go, in my opinion, where you have this, where Ryan Gosling is pulling out probably one of his more fun performances, because I haven't necessarily, I wanted to see more than his, serious action hero, and we got all this, and I'm totally wrong again about not going to see this movie, because with the fact that they spent all this money, the action would have looked so amazing in the theater. Like, it would have been really crazy to see that sort of thing. Him getting set on fire, him fighting with Iggy Star, you know, the fight with the mercenaries. And then there's just a ton of fun bits. But definitely go see the extended versions. The extended version has a couple gags that I think that you'll like. There's some behind the lead camera gags that are bugs out. There's one thing that I understand what I took out. It's a trippy scene, like where characters on drugs and they start seeing things. I understand for the audience they had to remove that, but you could suffer through a scene like that, the chase scene after the club scene. Um, you could suffer through that. It's still fun. So yeah, I like when you take a project that you know isn't necessarily up to snuff, and then you make something out of it, right? You're taking a TV property that was about a stuntman, and of course, Lee Majors had a stuntman in The Fall Guy, so he wasn't doing his own stunts. It was, a wall. It was like a look inside the mirror type of thing. Look at Hollywood, but at the same time, it's all actors playing. And this, they played to that in this show. So I just wanted to bring this up to say I had a lot of fun in this. I think it was an enjoyable, and at the same time, if you compare it to Cliff Booth, and you have ultimately the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You have the similar. This is kind of a Once Upon a Time, and it's kind of having a little more fun. Whereas you can't really compare the two of them. But yeah, I definitely did like this movie, and I would say go check it out if you got Peacock, or rent it if you're doing that. But it's number one and number four on Peacock now. So this Cliff Booth, not a Fall Guy. So very enjoyable. Even the fall that's in here, they had that be the big catalyst for the movie, and it's key. It's a part of the entire story. So yeah, I mean, what was it? I can't. That's the thing. There's so many videos saying why it failed, and when you look at it, you say, "We were wrong. This thing is fun. This is a lot of fun. You want to see a fun movie? Do we need to have Tom Cruise in it?" I say, come on, guys. We have to support the movies, because once, I don't know, I didn't support it, so what can I say? I can't say any more than that. I enjoyed it, but I didn't support it. And now look at that. I got egg on my face. I was totally wrong. This is what happens. I said, no, no chance. Not how what happened to Howie. They combined Colt and Howie, right? So that's the other thing. Howie was the character. I don't want to say the word, but he was the everyman, the guy who was struggling, wanted to get with Jody, but he couldn't, find the words, that sort of thing. And they progressed it where you have a little bit of Colt, a little bit of Jody and Ryan Gosling, and this is where you get your movie. Jody, I'm not really sure what Jody did in there. I guess she was hired to do some stunts and whatnot, or part of the stunt. Well, no, I can't say. It's not that extreme that they would have, someone who looks like a movie star as a stunt person, because there's an actress who's in what was she in? The Roadhouse. The first Roadhouse is Julie Michaels, where she looks like she's definitely a movie star, but she moved into what's that thing? Into becoming a stunt woman, and she actually beats up Keanu Reeves in Point Break. So yeah, it could possibly happen. You can have the hottest person on the planet playing a stunt person in the show, because Julie Michaels became that. So with that said, that's all I got for you guys. Check it out. Definitely, I was a big, well, I've seen a lot of Teresa Palmer stuff, so it was great to see her kind of let loose and have fun. And you can see that with Ryan Gosling, where he's shedding being the tough guy, and he's a little more vulnerable in this. Winston Duke is just fun throughout the entire thing. I think everyone got a point, and even when the extras kind of chime in here, their scenes kind of hit, and that I think it's really testament of just you want to do something that's no, it's just really funny. I can't say it. I can't say any more to it. I know this hasn't been the greatest review, but ultimately I did own up and say I was wrong. So this was going to be a comparison between this and Cliff Booth, but we're not doing that today. So I can just take a skeet shoot and complain and say some issues about one of these movies. I won't say which, but that's about it. Spinner Rack is out.